Hello everyone, my name's Miranda and welcome to my somewhat weekly recap of the original series. Today I will be reviewing episode 16, Farewell to Storyville, which should really be called Farewell to Rebekah for reasons that I will not disclose until warning all the people out there who haven't watched the latest episode yet to get out while they still can, because there will be major spoilers ahead. I repeat, if you haven't watched this week's episode and don't want to be spoiled, thank you for stopping by, but come back and watch this after you rectify that. This episode started off with the cutest flashback ever of Rebekah and Klaus as little kids, and Klaus comforting Rebekah during a thunderstorm like the loving big brother he used to be. Flash forward to present day, and those once adorable, caring siblings are now in a Mexican standoff with one bent on killing the other. Poor Elijah was stuck in the middle again, basically spent the majority of the episode trying to keep Klaus from killing Rebekah. Marcel, meanwhile, was doing everything in his power to free Rebekah from the cemetery before Klaus could kill her. Even though I'm still not a huge fan of Marcel and Rebekah's relationship, I mean, you gotta appreciate a man on a mission for love. Unfortunately for Marcel, though, his quest eventually placed him in a Sophie's Choice-esque situation, with him having to choose between the two women that he loves the most, Rebekah and Davina. Poor Davina. I was so excited to have her back, and then we learned that she is now basically morbidly depressed from her stint as a dead person, which it makes sense. Being dead will do that to a person. Tammy did try to help her, and I love seeing how much she really cares for Davina and keeps trying to protect her from all this supernatural stuff that's going on around them. I really thought and was really hoping she was going to try and run off with Davina again, but no such luck. Something is obviously really wrong with Davina, so much so that Cammy actually recommended putting her in a mental hospital. And now that the witches want her back, I just have a really bad feeling about what's going to happen. I feel like Davina's just in a very dangerous and precarious situation. There's obviously a lot more to this whole witch sacrifice thing than we originally thought, for the witches to still want Davina after everything that happened earlier in the season. I just hope she can keep it together enough to not be manipulated by the witches into turning against her friends in the quarter, because we all know that the witches can be very persuasive when they want to be, yet they have their own agenda that is not always the best thing for our favorite characters on the show. Back in the cemetery, Elijah revealed to Klaus that Rebekah had actually tried to kill their father way back in the olden days, but Elijah had stopped her before she could do it, and I know he was kind of hoping that portray Rebekah in a good light, but Klaus was way beyond the point of reasoning. All he could focus on was killing Rebekah. It was such an epic game of cat and mouse watching them, and Elijah just being in the middle. I loved how Klaus would try and swing for Rebekah, and he'd go really fast, and then Elijah would just beat him right there. It was like an epic game of Vampire Speed Olympics or something. Finally, Elijah did manage to wrestle the white oak dagger away from Klaus, and of course, in typical Klaus-like fashion, he turned and promptly stabbed Elijah in the chest with Papa Tundi's blade, and Elijah was effectively rendered useless. However, Rebekah one-upped both her brothers by emerging from her hiding spot with the white oak dagger in her hand, and was finally able to explain to Klaus what his actions drove her to bring their father to New Orleans, which eventually led to it burning down and them fleeing in a panic. All of Rebekah and Klaus's scenes in this episode were just so amazing. The emotions they were going through that you could see on their faces, I was just sitting there absolutely floored, because it really showed you how broken and damaged this relationship was, and seeing those flashbacks throughout the episode when they were little kids and they were defending each other, it made me so sad, because they used to look out for each other and really be like true siblings that cared for each other and absolutely adored each other and would do anything. And to see where they are now, it was just heartbreaking. It was heart-wrenching. I think Claire Holt absolutely nailed every single scene she had in this episode. I could really feel Rebekah's pain and her just all this pent-up, bottled frustration and betrayal and everything she had been feeling for the last thousands of centuries or however long they've been alive. And everything Rebekah said was just completely spot on. She, Elijah, and Klaus are damaged beyond repair. They're broken, they're cursed, their father has just ruined them, and they can't effectively be together anymore. They have to be kept separate, or else they're just going to repeat this vicious cycle of trusting, betrayal, hurt, and then betrayal all over again. All this stuff that makes them broken, because they've been broken for a long time now, and there's no way to fix it by being together. It's not a healthy relationship, the siblings, no matter how much Elijah wants it to be, and I think Rebekah has realized that for a long time, and her finally telling Klaus all she had felt, you could see that Klaus realized that what she was saying was true. As much as they once loved each other, they're just not in that position anymore. There's though Klaus being Klaus still stabbed Rebekah with the white dagger, although not in the heart, which I was not surprised about because I never ever for a second worried that he was going to kill her. She finally healed. Klaus basically explained to Rebekah in not so much many words that he wants her to be happy. He realizes now that being together as a family, as much as like they think that's what they should do, just gonna keep costing them. And so after he realized this, he granted her the freedom she has always wanted and allowed her to leave New Orleans without having to watch her back or worry about being dragged back by Klaus or Elijah, because she is free now to do her own thing, live her own life, and just be happy and love like she's always wanted. I wasn't that surprised to see Rebekah leave New Orleans because I felt like the episode, the way it was building up for her not to leave, it just would have felt like really forced and odd. But I wasn't expecting at all for her not to come back. I remember when I was watching it and my mom was like, oh, so does this mean she's not on the show anymore? And I was like, no, she'll probably just be gone for a couple episodes like Davina. Then they'll bring her back for some reason and it'll be like she never left, blah, blah, blah. But then the next day I was online and I see all these articles about how Claire Holt really left the show. She wanted to leave. They wrote off her character. I was just completely shocked to read that. I mean, everyone says there's still a chance for Rebekah to come back in season 2 as like a guest star, but she is no longer a series regular. But I'm just honestly baffled why Claire Holt would want to leave the show, or as a lot of people are pointing out, Rebekah is A, one of the 3 originals in the show called The Originals, and B, the only girl original, meaning she is basically the female lead on the show. Yes, we have Haley and Davina and Camille, but she is the one consistent female that is pretty much in every single episode as far. That being said, this episode did do a really good job of giving Rebekah the closure that she needed before leaving New Orleans. She bid goodbye to Marcel, who had decided to stay in the city and defend his turf against Elijah and Klaus, who were back to take control of it once again, and she had a really, really sweet moment with Haley about the baby and just all the goodbyes. I was tearing up. I was like, no, Rebekah, don't leave, but it was what she really wanted. And that final shot of her leaving the city with a big smile on her face as she crossed out of the New Orleans border, I was just, oh, it had me smiling through my tears. Although I'm sad to see her leave and I'm going to miss Rebekah, I think they really did come up with a beautiful exit for her character. So I'm still a little curious as to where Rebekah's nice little car has been this entire time. We saw it in the pilot and then all of a sudden it's back in this episode. Like, I have not seen one garage in New Orleans, so are you really going to try and tell me she kept that in the quarter? It makes me think though that I can't believe this is only season 1 and half the characters are already dropping off like flies. Sophie's dead, not that I'm upset about that. Rebekah's left, we haven't seen Josh in weeks, and Kieran is hanging on by a loose, very mentally unstable thread, so I just have no idea. They're gonna have to add a lot of characters, I feel like, for the next season to keep the show going. I said in my last review that I had absolutely no idea where the rest of the season was headed, and now I'm just even more confused than I was before. All I know for certain is that I'm going to miss Rebekah's character so much. She was really, really starting to grow on me in the last few episodes. I felt like she was really coming into her own and being independent and fighting back against her brothers. So I really, really hope that Claire Holt decides to come back to the originals, even if it's just for like a guest spot here and there. I'm just really gonna miss Rebekah so much. So what did you guys all think of Rebekah's exit? Were you as shocked as I was? Because like I said, I never for a minute saw it coming that it was gonna be a permanent exit. I thought she would be back in a couple episodes, no big deal. So leave all your comments and reactions down below, because boy was this a doozy of an episode. There were so many great moments and everyone just brought their A game when it came to acting. I'm so excited to see where this goes with the finale, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next season. Alright, thank you all for watching, and unlike Rebekah, I will see you next time. Bye!